We are back again after taking 2 weeks off, not on purpose. It's just we've had some very busy schedules. We've had things all over the place. Obviously, we wanted to be there for a reaction from the national title game. We won't really have a much opportunity to touch that, but we do have a Super Bowl matchup set. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 49, Patriots taking on the Seahawks. Going to be in Santa Clara, not San Francisco, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away, which is a whole other discussion. But we're gonna recap the conference championship games. We're gonna talk a little bit about Bill Belichick being snubbed from the Hall of Fame, which is ridiculous that he's not first ballot. But before we do, and we haven't gotten a chance to do this in a while, but I saw this. I have to ask Grant because Grant not the most plugged into social media, so he probably didn't see this. So I got to get his reaction for the first time. But Grant, did you see that LeBron James on a podcast said that today's NBA is much tougher to play in than in the 80s and 90s?
No,
Nope.
no, I didn't.
What's your reaction to that?
That guy's such a pussy. Man, seriously, Dylan, I know you don't like this, but fuck that guy. I used to love LeBron James, but now he's just a whiner, and he knows that he will never be Michael Jordan. So now he just has to say these ridiculous comments to stay relevant in the media today because the Lakers are trash. They're going to be a dumpster fire who loses in the first round of the playoffs anyway. And LeBron, it must be real hard playing 60 games a year, getting big first-class airplanes, all these private hotels, the best chefs in the world. You get to choose when you want to play. Nobody plays back-to-back games anymore. I mean, MJ dominated because he played 82 games and treated every single game like games. Well, he wouldn't say Game 7 because his teams never had to get to Game 7 because he could close. Sorry, LeBron. It's just this guy is such a loser, and it's just so bringing attention to me, because he's not the face of the league anymore. He knows he's going to retire. People aren't going to talk about him, so he just says these outlandish things so that his guys like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp can just have all the LeBron cocks in their face to pump him up. I have a bad toe. I'm going to need to miss 2 games. My calf hurts.
My glutes hurt.
I can't play. Yeah, my oblique hurts when Sam Darnold out there fucking slinging it with a bad oblique in a game where people want to kill you. And LeBron, all NBA players nowadays, they don't want to be physical. They don't want to be tough anymore. They want to be friends. There's more intensity, I bet you, at an LA Fitness basketball game than an NBA game.
That's very fair statement.
People die at those games.
Yeah, they closed the Brooklyn Center one down because there was too many gunshots at the basketball court, I bet.
They did. It's a true statement.
And there's probably too many robberies where, people not locking their shit. It amazes me. They go to the gym and their stuff gets stolen. Did you lock your door? No. Well, that's your own fault, dumbass. And you're in Brooklyn Center. For the love of God, lock your shit up. So he's just
that's spicy. I like that. We're starting to show up. We took 2 weeks. Grant had to blow off some steam. It's fine.
I really did. I mean, and also I'm looking at these NBA players nowadays, and they just look like giant losers. I miss when we had actual big men. Like, don't get me wrong, these guys are mountains. Like, because they're all 6'8" or taller. But I want guys like Shaq and Karl Malone, not off the court, but on the court, just physically built the way they are. These guys these days are just a bunch of losers. And we're acting all spicy like Karl Anthony Towns. Get that out of here. If you want to be in New York and doing that, go to RuPaul's drag show. Get off the NBA court.
I find it concerning. You know what that show is.
Well, in today's world, you talk to enough people at work with different beliefs and everything else like that. You hear something once or twice, and it sticks in the back of your brain. And also, I'm not one to go out there and watch that by myself. Maybe I am, and that's how I know this. But you remember things like that.
Grant is a RuPaul's drag show watcher. Big RuPaul Drake show watcher.
Yeah.
What else? Oh yeah. The Browns have their franchise quarterback. Shadur Sanders is a Pro Bowl quarterback. Yes, show to watch. But we don't have much to talk about on that. But I do want to touch on a little bit because
also in the NBA in today's world, they're not trying to physically kill you like they were in the 80s and the 90s. Well, hand check
after
these
they had
days.
to fly commercial.
Exactly. Oh, hand check. That's a foul. Like, yes, LeBron, you are physically more gifted than everybody in the 80s and 90s, but play a game against the Detroit Pistons when they wanted to murder you, and then let me know if this game's tougher or not.
It's fair.
He'd still be on the floor. But
Well, he'd be in a hospital with 3 broken ribs and a collapsed lung.
yeah. But I want to touch on Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is ridiculous. I saw a writer write the reason why is because the time was running out on a couple of other players that might not make it in. And if they haven't made it in this long, they probably don't deserve to be in. I think it's ridiculous. Haven't been many things Deion Sanders has been right about in the last few years, but his take a couple of years ago about how it's become the Hall of Very Good because we're too worried about, like you've said, Grant, people's feelings getting hurt. That we want guys that are less deserving than arguably the greatest coach of all time.
It's not arguably. Dylan, it's not arguably. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop it. The discussion's over. He had the balls to pull a $100 million quarterback and put him on the bench for a twice for a 6th rounder that nobody believed in. And after that $100 million quarterback won them a conference championship game in Pittsburgh with Tom coming off a sprained ankle when Bledsoe was healthy, he still put Brady in there. It's over.
And I believe that the Super Bowl that year they only had a week off. They didn't have the 2 weeks off that they have now.
Because it was 9/11. 9/11.
Yep.
Also, thanks to the New York, you know what? We can actually thank Al Qaeda for Tom Brady's career. Now, I know I'm going sidetracked here, Dylan, but God damn it, here I go. In week 2 that season,
wow.
You know, we had the attack on New York City. The NFL canceled all those games. The Patriots and Jets were supposed to play that Sunday. So they moved that game to the following week. Well, during that game that week, then Bledsoe's running to the sidelines and he gets blasted. You know, his lung collapsed. He ends up in the hospital. Brady comes onto the field. Had it not been for 9/11 and that game not gotten canceled, maybe Bledsoe doesn't get injured. Brady, who knows? He might take Bledsoe's job later on in that year, but maybe that's when they're 3-6, and Belichick knows Bledsoe's not working, and Brady eventually beat him out. So had we not had that terrorist attack, Tom maybe doesn't get his start. Maybe he doesn't win that first Super Bowl, and then the butterfly effect, this Patriots dynasty, doesn't happen.
Yeah, that is quite the conspiracy. I might have to change the title of the show.
I'm just saying.
Oh man, boy, this could get us in some trouble. But we're not FCC regulated, so we're okay. But you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about Brady and Belichick's former team. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl after beating the Broncos. Wow, I can't talk. The Broncos 10-7 in the AFC Championship in what turned into a blizzard in the second half. And I think the theme for both of these games is when Trent Dilfer got made fun of a lot, still gets made fun of a lot. And I've said to him on the show for what he said is you cannot lose games in the NFL and still win them. And that's the theme. I mean, you look at these two games, the Sean Payton's decision to go for it when they could have had a 2-score lead, when he knew that the weather was coming and to still go for it to try and get to extend a drive where you go up 10-0. The defense or the Patriots had nothing. They had no momentum, no reason to be excited. You go up 10-0, you make them go the whole field, and at that point, they weren't gonna. The defense was playing great. The defense played great the whole game. I mean, the difference for the
didn't Drake May at that point have 12 yards passing?
let me see here.
Or something
it was
ridiculous.
Really bad. Yeah,
it was not good.
But
also, Dylan, you want to talk about butterfly?
Like that?
You want to talk about butterfly effect? And in that game, Denver goes down the field. They're up 7-0, 4th and 1. He decides to go for it. We all saw the play action pass, incomplete with horrible play call, but that's besides the point. Had they kicked that field goal and gone up 10-0, well, so the drive after that, the Patriots don't do anything. They have a dud. They have a 3-and-out, and then the Patriots punt, and they actually had a good punt right there. But then it was that next drive where Stidham we got Baylor, Jared Stidham, and for whatever reason, he decided to throw that backwards pass, and the Patriots pick it up and they score the next play.
Right.
Had Sean Payton kicked that field goal, the Patriots then don't get the ball there. They don't punt. Maybe they never get close and they never score a touchdown. Denver's in the Super Bowl because they're up 10-0, and you can't tell me the Patriots offense that day was going to do anything. Because they gave up in the second half.
Yes, and I mean, the one drive that the Patriots had was that drive where they took 9.5 minutes off the clock out of the break, and that was the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, Mike Vrabel now has a chance to become the first to ever win a Super Bowl as a player and a coach of the team that he played for.
Well,
interesting.
Not too shabby.
Yes. And let's go over to the NFC Championship. Seahawks Rams. They're different. Incredible game. I mean, the first one was a low defensive battle. This one, it was a high flying shootout. Like the wild NFC West.
Probably one of the better playoff games in the past 5 years.
I would agree. I found on YouTube they have it's like an hour-long video of the best playoff games since the since the turn of the century, from 2000 to now. And I watched it on Sunday while I was waiting for the games to start. But I mean, realistically, the difference in the game was that muff punt by the Rams, where one play later the Seahawks found, I believe it was JSN, and
it was JSN.
And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I completely forgot that Cooper Kupp played for the Seahawks this year until Sunday, because he's had a quiet year. You haven't really heard much, mostly because Jackson Smith-Njigba has been the guy, basically established himself as one of the best receivers in the NFL. Might be the best receiver in the NFL this year.
He's fantastic.
And another thing is you got to be happy for a guy like Sam Darnold, who last year in the two biggest games for the Vikings. Sorry to bring it up, Ethan.
That's okay.
But did not play well. Wasn't helped out a whole lot, especially against the Rams. But it was a bit of exercising of demons, because even in the game that they won in Seattle on that Thursday night game, he turned the ball over 5 times. And he comes out and just absolutely destroys that Rams defense, just cars them up. And, I mean, it felt like it was any third down. They found ways. I mean, credit Clint Kubiak for doing a great job of balancing it out, having a good run-in pass ratio. Difference in the game, too, was third down. I thought that I had that circled as one of my keys to the game. The Rams were 7 for 13 on third down. Rams, 1 of 8. You're not going to win many conference championships or any games for that matter if you're 1 of 8 on third down.
No. I was just, like you said, Sam Darnold's so impressive. People just bash on him every big game. He sucks. Just absolutely shut him up. Nothing else you can say about that. Absolutely dominant. And like Grant, you mentioned earlier, that's with an oblique injury. Like they weren't even sure if he was going to play. Like he winced how many times, like just fighting off the pain. Like, but he went out there and just balled, and it wasn't just JSN this time. Like Cooper Kupp got in on it. Jake Bobo, I think that's his name, got the touchdown. Like,
Bobo,
it was different guys.
Yep.
Like he really spread it around.
And Shaheed on the first, on the first drive, getting that big 50-yarder to set the tone on the game.
Yep. Yeah. That was a
And
third
you know
down,
what?
wasn't it?
That was a third down. And, kind of like, when that shooter in basketball, they see the ball go through the net the first time. I think with Sam in that oblique injury, because after he threw that, you could see him wincing.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you were just like, I think he was like, you know what? I can gut through this.
Yeah, I can do this type of thing.
I can do this. Because what was it, like 348 and 3 tutties or 352?
Yeah, it was insane.
It was just absolutely insane. I mean, but it's weird. Sometimes you just got to find the right spot. And it was great, the run he had last year here in Minnesota, but maybe Seattle's just his home. Maybe he belongs on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
You think about it, grew up in California, went to USC, spend the first 20 years of your life on one coast and then fly across to live in the hardest city in the United States. Maybe that does affect you a little bit, and getting back more towards home was exactly what he needed. And he found that home in Seattle this year.
Yep, we got 2 NDSU former Bison in the Super Bowl for the Seahawks as well, in Gray Zabel and Jalen Sundell. And you guys, we were all pretty big Patriot fans back in the day of their dynasty. If it came down to Brady or Manning, I think all of us would choose Brady over Manning. And we were not very pro Seattle at all. But, and this isn't a knock on the Patriots at all, but if I have to choose who I'm cheering for, I never thought I'd see the day that I would be cheering for the Seahawks over the Patriots.
No. That's a fair point.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Dylan. And also, you just kind of, how can you not start to really like and appreciate Mike McDonald? Because he took over, that job. People are just like, they moved off of Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll could be a Hall of Fame coach. Had so much success with Seattle, and he kind of comes in, and he's not afraid to change the culture and do his own thing. He's not afraid after his first year to fire his offensive coordinator and tell Geno Smith, no, you're not that guy. And then get Sam Darnold and kind of build it the way he wants to. And how aggressive John Schneider was this year at the trade deadline. When, our passing game is going well. Sam's getting comfortable, but we need Raheed Shaheed for another piece. And it's paid off huge. And look at the San Francisco game, the 95-yard kickoff to start the game. That game was over 13 seconds into it.
Mm-hmm.
Darnold didn't even have to do anything.
No, but then that touchdown to I think it was JSN in that game. I saw the end zone view. I mean, he threw that thing, and he was still behind the first 49ers defender, and he threw it right by his ear hole. So you feel good for Sam Darnold, just for kind of overcoming those demons, and I think truly finding a place where he can have success, because this is another situation where young quarterbacks don't fail NFL teams. NFL teams fail young quarterbacks. Because look at the first 2 quarterbacks from that 2018 draft class.
Well, I heard something
Baker and Sam.
I also heard something that I just learned like last week, that when Sam Darnold was drafted by the Jets, the offensive coordinator was running the playbook that Peyton Manning ran. There's only one person who can run that offense, and that's Peyton Manning. Nobody else can.
That might be.
And then when he goes to Carolina, Matt Rule's the coach, and they're running a college offense, and it didn't work. And then now he goes, and I mean, credit the guy for taking a step back, and he goes to the 49ers, and he learns the offense, learns how to be an NFL quarterback from Shanahan. And you see it paying dividends, obviously, to now where he's playing for a Super Bowl. And right now, I believe, are the Seahawks favored?
Oh, yeah. They're 4.5, 5-point favorites, Dylan.
Okay.
Well, and Dylan, it's funny you mentioned going to San Francisco and sitting down for that year. He spends that year in San Francisco with with Shanahan's offense. He got that from his dad. And then he spends a year in Minnesota here with KOC from the Sean McVay branch, but also spent some time with, with Kyle and Mike Shanahan in Washington. Both of those off, and then with Kubiak, who kind of runs something more similar to what Kyle runs. It's the same West Coast offense. It's just they've branched off in two different ways. McVay's is more of kind of the Andy Reid and Mike Holmgren. We're going to air it out and throw it. Same with John Gruden. While Shanahan, they believe on in the inside and the outside zone, but it's got very much similarities. They're just two different styles of the West Coast. So yeah, he's been on 3 different teams in 3 years, but you could also argue it's kind of the same offense in one. So he finally has that continuity where he's not learning a new language and different play calls every single year, like he was at the start of his career.
Yep. So, well, I think that wraps up. We'll have a Super Bowl preview out next week sometime. We'll figure out when that is. But before we wrap up the show, Curveball of the Week is back, and I got it this week. And I've been waiting for this one, guys. So I got to know, when you guys are watching a TV show, what is the intro song that comes on that no matter what, because now you get the option, you can skip intro. What is the intro song that you listen to instead that you don't skip over?
There's two. There's Yellowstone and Landman. I listen to both.
Fuck, God, okay. Ethan, you nailed it.
They're so good.
Yeah. To continue the kind of Taylor Sheridan train, because Ethan, those were the first 2 I'd pick up.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Mayor of Kingstown.
Okay.
Just because, and it's so much different than Yellowstone and Landman, where it's dark and gory, and your anxiety is going to be high watching that show because you don't know when some gangbanger is going to come around and try to shoot at Jeremy Renner, or when a car is going to explode out of nowhere. But yeah, I really like the Mayor of Kingstown one because that sets up each episode because you truly don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I would say the Sopranos, and Grant, I'm a little bit disappointed that you did not say Friends.
Well, that is an option there, Dylan. But now, I guess on HBO Max, I'm not sure if you can skip it or not. But yeah, when you hear that one, everybody claps.
Yeah.
You're not missing that. What was that?
I can never get it on time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just that anticipation builds where you're going to hit those claps. So of course that's in there, Dylan.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's short episode. That might be a record for the fastest episode we've ever done, 23 minutes as we record. We'll figure out a weekday next week. We will be doing a Super Bowl preview. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And a good way to stay tuned on that and keep up to date on when we will be recording, make sure you rate, and follow us on all of our socials, 3GTV Podcast. We'll be posting, probably going to be early next week because I fly out to Kansas City on Thursday. It's going to be a quick turnaround because I get into Dickinson at 4 on Sunday night. So I get in and it's going to be straight to wherever. I don't even know where I'm going yet. So that's I won't even have time to make food for the Super Bowl, which is something I look forward to every year, but I'm just not going to be able to, just not going to have time. But make sure you like and subscribe, follow us so you can see when we do go live next week for the Super Bowl. But that wraps up this week's episode. We're going to talk to you next week.